friends, and welcome back to R&R Sports, home of the Road Show. I'm your official voice of youth, high school, and now collegiate sports, Chad Ricardo. I got a special guest in the building, head coach of Old Dominion Football, ODU, Coach Ricky Rahne. Coach, thank you very much for taking a moment with us here today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it.
Now, Coach, as we take a look at your last position, you, of course, were the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach at Penn State. Now, at Penn State, you're competing for national championships every year. You're in Happy Valley. You've got hundreds of thousands of adoring fans. You're working with the best and brightest student athletes from across the nation each and every year. To many, that's a dream job in and of itself. I got to imagine that it took a special opportunity for you to walk away from there. Why ODU?
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct. It definitely took a special opportunity. I mean, you know, Coach Franklin is a great friend of mine. He's actually the godfather of my youngest child, and our wives are best friends. My wife is from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. You know, and I have a unbelievable amount of, you know, friends there, and you're right, it was a special job. I mean, some would say I had the greatest job in the country. But when you look at Old Dominion, you know, you look at it's a diamond in the rough. I mean, there's unbelievable talent here, not only in the 757, but throughout the state of Virginia, down in North Carolina, and up into the DMV area, where we recruit really hard. You know, we have great facilities here already. And, you know, our fan support is unbelievable. At one point, they had 60 straight sellouts here. So, I mean, there's a lot of things here that you've just got to love. And this was an opportunity that I just didn't want to pass up. And, you know, there have been other opportunities that, you know, I did pass up, you know, interviews turned down and things like that. I just didn't feel like it was the right time. But, you know, everything felt right about this opportunity.
You speak to your relationship with Coach Franklin. What is it that you will bring from both that personal relationship and your time at Penn State? What are you bringing from there down to ODU?
Well, I think it goes beyond even Penn State. You know, at Vanderbilt, when I was there with him, you know, they had gone to 2 bowl games in their history. They'd been 2-10 2 years in a row before we got there. We went to 3 straight bowl games. The last 2 seasons, we won 9 games each and finished in the top 25. So, you know, that experience showed me how to, you know, rebuild a program and you know, really, you know, ignite a fan base and things like that. And then at Penn State, I was able to learn, you know, how to sustain things. You know, 3 out of the last 4 years, won 11 games at Penn State, finished in the top 10. You know, I mean, so we've done some unbelievable things there. So I was able to kind of get both experiences while I was there with them. And he does an unbelievable job of organizing the coaches. He does an unbelievable job of galvanizing a fan base and things like that, and those things I was able to learn from him, you know, and also the motivating players and showing players how you care about them and things like that. So I can't even begin to think about all the things I learned from him and even categorize them in any way.
When it comes to building a program and the one that you're going to build here at ODU, I saw that you mentioned 4 pillars. I'll read them so that I make sure I get them right. Positivity, work ethic, competing, and sacrifice. Those are the 4 pillars that you plan to build off of. Why, as a collective, are those important?
Yeah, you know, those are some things that we had at Penn State, and I felt like they were just something that just carries on into a lot of different areas. You know, positive attitude. You know, I want to be around people that are going to be, you know, we're going to see opportunity while others see obstacle. And, you know, I think it's incredibly important in you know, today's society to be that. You know, anybody can point out the faults and the pratfalls and the issues that are going on in this country right now. I would rather see what we can do to make things better. You know, I mean, it doesn't take a wise man to see that there are some things wrong in our society, and obviously with the current pandemic and things like that. But, you know, somebody who's positive, somebody who has an attitude of how we're going to fix this, that's who I want to be around. You know, great work ethic. You know, nothing in this world has ever happened without a great work ethic. You know, I mean, people, you know, you always hear the expression, oh, that guy was born on, you know, he was born on third base or whatever. Well, those people tend not to get home. Those guys who have to work at it and work and grind and do those sort of things. Those are the people who truly feel satisfied. Those are the people who have great lives. Compete. I tell a story all the time. Competing is just a way of life for me and for my family. I mean, there are no 21-point rules in Madden in my household. So I'm playing my two sons. We're gonna play to the bitter end and those sort of things. We randomed and played NBA 2K the other day. It was bad luck for him. I got the 92 Bulls, so Jordan was going to play 67 points on him. I mean, that's just going to happen, So, I mean, we're going to compete at every single thing we do, and then sacrifice. You've got to be willing to sacrifice some things, I mean, you can't just think that, you can just keep doing everything you want. Like, if I want to lose weight, guess what? I got to sacrifice hamburgers and things like that. Quite frankly, I'm not willing to sacrifice that right now. You know what I mean? So I love those sort of things, but I also have to understand the consequences that come with that. So, one thing we've been talking about lately is 3 C's, and as I've gone through kind of getting to know the team a little bit better and going through this pandemic and kind of evaluating things we're doing, I felt like this was a little bit more apt to our team. So the first one is care. And I want our players to know that I care about them. The coaches care about them. I care about the other coaches. And they've got to care about their teammates. And the other thing on care is they've got to care about football. If they don't care about football and it's just something they do and they don't have a passion for it, we're going to struggle. They've got to care about it and truly invest and care about it. The next thing is going to be compete. I don't think that's something that you can replace. I think that's something that's going to be there, for a long time. That compete part that we already talked about is going to be critical. And then the last one is character. I want to recruit men of character. I want to help, develop and mold men of character. People who are going to be, they're not going to be perfect. Our guys are going to make mistakes. I make mistakes all the time, but it's admitting those mistakes, hitting them full on and those sort of things. But then the other thing I want in that character piece is I want the guys to know that they're going to be able to be their own men. They're going to be able to have some personality and things like that. I don't want robots. That's not what we want out there. We want some character and some guys who are going to be different and those sort of things. So, those are kind of the things that we're going into as we head into this season.
I want to speak to you about a couple of student athletes from up here in the Northern Virginia area in specific. I'll begin with Ricky Slade. Ricky Slade was one of the most dynamic student athletes that I've ever had the opportunity to see with my own 2 eyes. I was covering him from when he was a freshman all the way through his senior year. He did some truly special things. 5-star running back. You, of course, worked with him at Penn. Now, when he hit the transfer portal, someone was going to hit the lottery in getting Ricky Slade. How did it come about that you were able to convince him to come on down to the 757?
Well, I think that it was more about him and his family having trust in me and knowing that I was going to push him to maximize his potential, that I was going to take care of him and those sort of things. But I also, I wasn't going to let him settle for second best and things like that. But I think it was mainly a trust issue that I had with the family from all the way back in recruiting him to when I was coaching him. And I think that that's probably the main thing that happened there. Also, he knows our offense, right? So it's a little bit easier for him to know, hey, I know what that play is called. He doesn't have to learn that part so well. He may have to learn, nuances of this school and nuances of his teammates and things like that. He doesn't have to learn the playbook. He already knows that. So I think that was a really critical part of it as well. And he knows he can be successful in this offense, so, we've still got some hurdles to overcome in terms of, things with, but we're just excited to have him on board. We know it increases our talent level and makes that room better. You've got to have as many running backs as possible. And at Penn State, we showed that, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a position, you just have one. That's probably not enough because those guys, this day and age of playing fast and doing all those sort of things, they're going to take a pounding from some of these guys.
Obviously, quarterbacks. Far better than I know quarterbacks, but quarterbacks. Young man who's a recent commit, of course, is Lake Braddock's Billy Edwards. For what it's worth, which isn't a lot, I believe that Billy Edwards is one of the more underrated quarterbacks in the DMV region. He's got athleticism. He's got different arm angles that he can throw the ball from. The kid can wing it, and he's got moxie and bravado. What do you see in a young man, Billy Edwards? How can he grow and develop and eventually help ODU?
Well, unfortunately, I can't talk specifically about athletes that aren't signed with us due to NCAA rules. But I will tell you that, for us, we want quarterbacks who are going to be smart. We want quarterbacks that are going to be, winners and leaders. And we want quarterbacks that are going to be able to do both, win with their feet and their arm, And so, those are things that are important for us. And that's something that we've evaluated for, my money. A guy who is from up in that area, Trace McSorley, is one of the greatest college quarterbacks, that I can remember over, the last, 5, 6, 7, 10 years. He was unbelievable. He was a kid who, he's incredibly smart. He studied film. He could beat you with his legs. He could beat you with his arm. He could be accurate with the ball. He could throw the ball deep. He won games. He won close games. He was able to come back when he made mistakes. He could take hits, and his teammates loved him. So that's kind of the prototype for us. Now, whether he's 6 feet tall, 6'4", 5'10", I don't really care. Because quite frankly, all of our linemen are 6'7", so they're going to have to throw in lanes anyway, right? So it's all about, but he's kind of the prototype, and he's kind of the guy we're looking at.
Trace McSorley got it done out there at Briarwoods. He was one hell of a quarterback. I'll get you out of here on this, Coach. Now, obviously, you have built this bridge into the DMV. No more speaking of specific student athletes, but you built this bridge into the DMV. Why should young men from this area and really from across the nation, why should they take another look at ODU?
Well, I think number one, we have the youngest coaching staff in America. 34.2 is our average age on our coaching staff. But with that, we've coached in 48 bowl games, 2 national championships, and 18 New Year's Six games. So we're an experienced staff. We're just young, and I think that helps us connect. I think that helps us, recruit. But the other thing it does is our guys their main focus is developing these student athletes. They don't have a guy from 10, 15 years ago that they're able to rest on their laurels and say, hey, look who I coached all the way back then. Their main focus is, hey, I'm gonna develop you. I want to make you the best possible player and make sure you maximize your potential all the time. So I think that's something that's, a big part of it. And then for us, we're going to recruit this region. We're going to recruit guys from Virginia. We're going to recruit guys from, North Carolina. We're going to recruit guys from DMV, up into, Pennsylvania and Jersey. But that's going to be our focus, West Virginia, those sort of areas. That's going to be our focus. And we want to win with these guys, and we know we can. We know we can win, conference championships and battle for New Year's Six-day games and things like that with guys from this region. If we're able to get the guys from our region to stay here, we can do special things. if you look at all these guys are going across all over the country and doing these amazing things. If we get our fair share, we feel pretty confident on, how many games we can win.
My hometown of the 757 has a ton to be excited about. Coach, congratulations on accepting this position, and thank you for rolling with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Great experience. And, anytime you want to come down, you're more than welcome. There's like you said, there's a lot of great things happening here, so you're always welcome back home.
I'll take you up on that, Coach. I'll see you soon.